Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Mishra and I do videos about budgeting, personal finance, and my debt-free journey, the good and the inevitable bad. So today what we're gonna do is my November monthly budget. So what I normally do is when I'm doing my budget for the whole entire month, I do it in a spreadsheet. And so I will have linked below the spreadsheet that I used. Today I'm not gonna screen share, so you'll just see things up on the screen. But yeah, I use a monthly spreadsheet so that I can just kind of put in my numbers. It calculates everything right away. And I at least know, okay, at the end of the month, if I have this money coming in and these expenses, this is what I have left over. And so that's what I like to do. When I'm budgeting my actual paychecks, though, as they come in, I use YNAB. And I do also have a link to a subscription for YNAB. Below, it's a free trial. You get 34 days free. And if you subscribe after that, then I get a month free for my subscription. And so that's that. So a little bit about me. I am a recently single mom of 3. I am the director of operations for a Christian media company. We have a television show that airs on a major network along with other not as major networks. This year I've been going through a little bit of a transition when it comes to finances and all of that type of stuff. So we're just trying to do what we can, the best that we can. But anyways, let's just get into our budget. So I am going to be looking a little bit at my computer. So first we'll start with income. So from my 9 to 5, I only get paid once per month. So it is a little tricky with budgeting because you have to make sure that you have enough to cover your month. But from that, I will bring in $7,049. So I do get a tax credit that I'm allowed to claim at source, so through payroll, as opposed to just getting a lump sum tax refund at tax time. And that's why my net amount is higher than it would normally be. I do some side hustle stuff. And so this month I will be getting $1,550. So I actually got this amount a couple days ago, but I haven't spent the money. So I'm still including it in this month. And then Canada Child Benefit. So the Canada Child Benefit is something that you get if you have kids in Canada. So everyone gets it. You have to you don't have to qualify for it per se, but after you make, say, I think over $150,000 a year, you'll most likely not get it anymore because the amount will be reduced so much. But yeah, so you don't have to qualify for it. It's just something that you get that the government gives if you have children, and it is based on your income. That's basically my income for the month. I don't really expect to get anything more than this. If I do, then that's great. So that comes to $9,532. So we'll go over to our bills. So this is pretty much our fixed bills that they may fluctuate a little bit, but these are things that we definitely have to pay for the month. So first I start with giving. So I do give tithe to my local church, and that's what that comprises of. So it's $923 for this month. My rent is $2,850. So I live in a 3-bedroom townhouse in the Greater Toronto area. Next is my utilities wise. I believe this is water. And for some reason, I'm budgeting $110. But when I used to live at my other place, which was also a 3-bedroom townhouse, but I also had a basement, my bill was only $60, but here it seems to be higher, but that's okay. So we're budgeting $110. My electricity, OPUC, I'm budgeting $100, but last month it did come to $76. But, with the change of the season, I just figured I'll budget a little bit more. So for Bell, that is my cell phone internet. So we have 2 cell phones and internet, and that comes to $190. And then subscriptions. So I know $380 is a lot of money for subscriptions, but this also includes subscriptions that I have for business. So that would be QuickBooks, Dropbox, and stuff like that. But then it also includes like Spotify, Microsoft, Microsoft 365 and things like that. So the QuickBooks subscription is a significant portion of that. So yeah, I know 380 seems a little bit high, but it's okay. And I definitely have enough income from my business to offset the subscriptions. So next is car insurance. So in this is some car insurance, renter's insurance, and a little bit of life insurance. And so it's $323 a month. And then insurance. So I have various insurances for me and my family, and that comes to $420 per month. So the total of all of our bills and subscriptions is $5,296, which I know that is quite a bit. It's over 50% of what I bring in, which is kind of a lot, but you know, it is what it is. We got to live, right? Next, on to our variable expenses. So I normally budget about $200 a month, sorry, $200 a week for groceries. So our grocery budget for the month is $800. And in the recent months, I've actually been able to kind of stay within this. So for fuel, I live 10 minutes away from where I work. So I don't really use that much gas, but I have budgeted $50 a week. So that is $200 for the month. And then eating out. So I normally budget about $50 per week for this. You'll see $265, but that's because after I did my budget, I found that I had some more money. And so I just put it in the eating out category. So this month we're budgeting $265. And for personal, so I normally like to get my nails done and stuff like that. So I normally only budget $100, but again, I did have a little bit of extra money as I was doing my budget. So I decided to up my game and budget $200. So I don't have anything specific for this outside of getting my nails done, but I would like to start kind of building up my wardrobe. So for so many years, I always just got hand-me-down clothes from like my mom and my sister. Which is fine. And I would still buy stuff myself, but I'm not really into like going to the mall and shopping and doing online shopping and that type of stuff. That could be because in the past I just didn't have a lot of money, so I never kind of got into that. But now I kind of want to, as I'm getting older, you know, curate my wardrobe a little bit more. So I am putting a little bit more money into this category to do that. Next is kids. So I'm budgeting $100. Kids always need stuff. I also give my kids an allowance, which comes up to $66 per month. I have 3 kids. So that comes out of that. In miscellaneous, so I normally budget $200 for miscellaneous, but again, I did have extra money, but I also feel that, again, stuff just comes up and I want to be kind of realistic. So this miscellaneous is kind of like a buffer for anything that might come up. For instance, last month, my daughter broke her phone and I had to pay $160 to fix the screen. So instead of using money from my emergency fund, I just used money that I had, part of my budget, and that ended up going into the miscellaneous category. So this month I decided to increase it to $400. I believe I did the same thing last month. For gifts, I'm just budgeting $50. My son does have a birthday party at the middle of the month, so I'm going to budget $50 on that. And then my gym membership is just under $46. So it normally comes off my credit card, but that money will also get put back onto my credit card. So for our variable expenses, our total is $2,061. So I actually don't think that's too bad considering that includes groceries and it includes gas for the month. So not too bad. When I was doing my budget, after doing these items or after entering these items, before increasing some of those categories I told you about, I had about $1,700 left over. Now it was kind of like, okay, what do I do? So different options would be saving. That I definitely have to do. I'm trying to pay off my credit card and I would hope to do that by the end of the year. So debt would be another area. So let's just kind of look at what I did. First, we'll start with my credit card. So I am going to aim to pay $700 to my credit card this month. Will I be able to do that? I'm not sure. I do have the money to do it, but again, things always come up. Last month I had to fix the phone. I also had to pay $400 to get my car fixed, and just different things. So we'll see. But I think 700 is a good amount that even if I don't reach 700, hopefully I fall in the 500 category or something like that. Aside from that, I do have a loan that I pay off monthly. And so that actually is set. So it's $350 a month towards that debt. And if we go to our investments, so I have a registered retirement savings plan, but that automatically gets taken off my pay. So that net of $7,049 is after already taking my RRSP into account, and I get an employer match for that. I have my tax-free savings account. So I'm aiming to put $200 a month towards my tax-free savings account. So earlier on in the year, I had a lot more than that, but because I had to move and I had to buy a car, I kind of depleted those funds. And so it's only as of last month, I believe I started to put money back into my tax-free savings account. So $200. My kids have a registered education savings plan, so I am saving for their education. I'm only putting in $75 a month right now. They do get a government match of 20% of whatever you put in. So I've been doing that for a couple years now. I will increase that amount once I feel like I have my emergency fund kind of like settled and my debt is kind of settled also. And then I can kind of put money into that. So my oldest will not be in university. She still has another 5 years basically. So I have a little bit of time. And then my Wealthsimple, this is where I put my emergency fund or a portion of it. And so every month I just have an automatic $50 that goes directly into that account. If I did have an emergency, I would also use the funds in my tax-free savings account. So basically $250 is kind of going towards emergency or savings. Now, if we just look at our savings, I do want to put, since I did have extra money left over, $500 into my emergency fund. So I was able to accumulate $1,000 in my emergency fund, which was my initial goal. I did have to use some of it for my car, but then I have since replenished some of that and I want to continue to build on that. So because I have a significant amount of money left over, I'm going to try and put $500 and hopefully we don't have any emergencies. So gifts. So for Christmas, I wanted to put aside $300. So that was $150 in October and $150 in November. But since I do have additional funds, I'm upping that in November to $300. So then that would make the total $450 that I put aside for Christmas. So that's basically everything. And if we go and we look, so we do a zero-based budget. Now, zero-based budget does not mean that I have $0 in my bank account at the beginning of the month when I'm doing the budget. It just means that all of the income that I have coming in equals all of the expenses that I have going out. And that includes just putting stuff in the miscellaneous category or creating a buffer in my budget for the future, for the next month. So just to break it down, our income is $9,532. Our debit expenses, $2,061. That's basically our variable expenses. And then for our bills, we have $5,296. We're saving $800 for the month. We're investing $325, which is still saving. So it's $1,125. We're going to pay $700 on our credit card. And towards our regular debt, we're putting $350. And so honestly, I'm pretty, like, not to be proud of myself, but I'm pretty proud of myself because there was a time when these savings and investments and all of that stuff was something that I could not do. So I feel like I've come a long way to how I was maybe like 5 years ago or before that, because I used to have a lot of debt at that time. So just having this one credit card and this one loan is significantly better than how things used to be in the past. But anyway, so this is my budget overview for the month of November. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you do like the spreadsheet, again, I have it linked below, and I will see you in my next YNAB paycheck. Bye.